Hello and welcome back to the Aveedo tutorial series. In the last part of the tutorial, we showed you how easy it is to migrate an existing Domino application to Aveedo using the Aveedo migration wizard. And the instant results were quite amazing already. So we have a complete view layout here. We have a new car button. We have, when I click on a document here, we have a document view with close and edit buttons. We have, if I click on edit here, the formula action and the set date Lotus script action that we have in the original application to just demonstrate how these kinds of scripts are being interpreted and parsed by Aveedo. So let's take a closer look today in this part of the tutorial, how we can assure that everything works as expected. So do the quality assurance of the migration with the migration wizard. And for that purpose, we will go into the Aveedo designer. And of course, now the fleet management application is listed in the applications here. We have an object configuration called car. We have a document layout called car. And you can see here, this one has an exclamation mark. And that means you should pay attention. It's just a warning. It doesn't mean anything went wrong. It's just a warning, but you should better check that everything works as expected. Now, when we open it, we see there are actually 3 exclamation marks in this document view. And the tooltip tells us we should check the default value formula. So when I click on this field and look for the compute options, you can see it has a new JavaScript compute option, which is JS functions add today. So that's the translation of the add today formula. And this looks good. So I can uncheck the attention needed checkbox up here. You have to do this manually. So this just ensures that you really checked everything, right? Apply the changes and you can see this exclamation mark is gone. The same goes for leasing ends, so this is probably the same issue here. So it's not an issue. JS functions add today is what we want. The default date will be the current date, and we don't need to pay further attention. All right, last but not least, we have the history field here. And this history field has a hide when formula. And I'm going to open this in the script editor so you can better read it. Actually, this is also just a single line of code here. So a JavaScript function that basically hides this field if it's a new document, which makes sense for a history field. Now, this is just one line of code and nothing will break here. But above this is our standard exception handler. So this line of code is automatically set by Aveedo. And its purpose is to return false for the hide when formula instead of an exception, so that the application can still work if anything unexpected happens. And if anything happens, it will write this to the log as a warning so you can debug it. But if you imagine you have not one line of code, but like 100 lines of code, and maybe this code already had bugs when you imported it, it's pretty handy to have this function. But in this case, we don't really need it. It's just one line of code now. We can close it and then we don't need to pay attention anymore. Apply the changes and this document layout is solved. So we can close it. Let's go over to the view layout. That's all good. The menus are all good. There are no shared actions. And for the scripts, you have to choose the category. We have the car that we just imported. You can see here there are 4 scripts that we imported automatically, and of course you need to check all of them. We have one formula action here, and we have Lotus script action here, and we will take a look at what Aveedo did with these different types of scripts. So let's do the formula action first. Now, and in the script section, you will always have the original code at the right-hand side and the actual action that is triggered by Aveedo on the left-hand side. And you can see here that we translated the at set field, created at now, script to JS functions at set field created JS functions at now. So we just parse that to a JavaScript function, and that will be all right. So we can uncheck the attention needed box here, save that script and close it. That will work. If I reload it here, you can see the exclamation mark is gone. Now let's head over to the set date script. That's a piece of Lotus script here. Here's your original code. And as you can see here, we have modified it a little bit automatically. Now all of this has been done automatically by Aveedo. And it has just modified it in a way so that Aveedo can interpret this piece of Lotus script. So it's not Notes UI workspace anymore, but Aveedo Notes UI workspace and stuff like this. But you can see is basically it will do the same kind of thing. And we can also here uncheck the attention needed box. Close that script, reload it, exclamation mark, gone. The same goes here for the post save action. You can again see that this does pretty much the same. We just had to parse the names here a little bit, but this script will also do what it's supposed to do. Uncheck the box, save it, done. And last but not least, these globals are also parsed, and now we are using the demo fleet management form scripts. So this will also be fine. Good. Save it and close it, reload it. All exclamation marks are gone. Nice. So there are no further warnings in this application. One last thing that we could be tempted to do is that when I click on a document here, you can see that we waste a lot of space here. There's a lot of white space. There's just one column with not a lot of text. So that's of course due to the automatic configuration of the application. And it's very easy actually in Aveedo to just make that look a little bit nicer. And we're just going to quickly do that before we head over to the next part of the tutorial. So what we can do here is we can go over to the document layout car that needs to be refreshed. And here we have just one panel with all the fields in them. And what we can do is we can add a second panel. Now we have a second panel here. And both of these panels should be a 2-column panel. So let's configure that by clicking on the options for these panels. Now we have two-column panels. So now what we can just do is we can just drag and drop these fields from the right to the left. So let's do it like that. And maybe the license plate also goes over here. And yeah, maybe also the remarks go over here. And now we can already, without having to do anything else, we can head over to our document layout and reload that. And you can see instantly the document layout has been changed to a 2-column design. Nice. All right, so that's it for today. We have made sure our application that was fully automatically transferred, migrated using the Aveedo migration wizard is fully functional and works. And maybe it's a good idea to also just demonstrate that quickly. So I can change the document by editing it. Maybe let's change here the license plate to 008. I can set the date here, for example, and the formula action basically does the same thing, but this action also works. It doesn't throw any errors. That's nice. And let's save that and close it. And now as you can, as we refresh this, you can see we have the new license plate here, and also you have the actual date where it was updated. So the history actions worked as well. Pretty nice. Let's close this. We can also try the new car function here. So let's say that's also Mercedes, and maybe it's an SLE automatic. Why not? It has a license plate of 009. Leasing starts, that's the current date, so that also works. Yeah, starts here and ends somewhere later. And we can set the created date by just hitting this button here. Maybe let's take that out again and use the other formula. That also works. Save everything, close it, refresh, and there we go. There's 009. So everything works as expected, and we really had like in total maybe 15 to 20 minutes of work to just to migrate a complete application with all the scripts and functions. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'm looking forward to welcome you back to the next part of this tutorial. Bye bye.